Hi everyone, I'm going to analyze the poem The Cannonization by John Donne. The poem was published in 1633. It is a metaphysical poem written in first-person narration. It consists 45 lines, written in 5 stanzas with 9 lines for each. Now we can listen to the summary of the poem. In the first stanza, the poet demands some complainers to leave him alone to continue his love freely. Instead, they could mind about poet's palsy, gout, 5 grey hairs, and ruined assets. And also, he asks them to focus on their development of wealth, art, or to be observed a real king or his grace. In the second stanza, he argues that there are no any harm due to his love. There are no sinking ships, causing floods, delaying spring, causing others to die, wars or lawsuits. So he asks the rhetorical question, who's injured by my love? In the third stanza, the poet and his beloved are unified in their love. They are like candles which will blow out on their own. And they are as eagle and dove, yet they need to be reborn together in a fire just like the fabled phoenix. In the fourth stanza, the poet says that they can die or live by love, and even if their love unfit for tombs and hearse, it fits for verse. So the poet prepares to die for love and to be canonized. Fifth stanza, and their love may be a beautiful example for the planet which will be immortalized, canonized, a pattern for all other love within the world. Next, we'll see the characteristics of metaphysical poetry. Argument on the poem is forceful, suggestive, and witty, along with irony. Rhyming scheme is A, B, B, A, C, 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 A, A. Meter, first, third, fourth, and seventh lines are in iambic pentameter. Second, fifth, sixth, and eighth are in iambic tetrameter. Ninth line is in trimeter. The rhythm is rough and conversational. Diction, simple, direct, and spontaneous language. Colloquial words are used. Rough idioms and surprising registers are used. Example for surprising registers are palsy and gout, related to the medicine. Merchant and ship, realm of trade and commerce. Phoenix is related to mythical word. Hymns, invoke, reverend are related to religious terms. Chronicles, historical term. The tone of the poem is begun abruptly in a tone of displeasure. The main characteristic of metaphysical poetry is metaphysical conceit. Conceit means metaphor. Metaphysical conceit is extended metaphor. This is often unusual and challenging. The poet compares himself as well as his lover to a phoenix. Both the poet and his lover in this form are capable of living and dying in a blaze of passion, as well as living once again in a blaze of passion. The phoenix is a mythical bird that was associated with immortality. Moreover, the two lovers are like saints who are canonized not for holiness but for love. Their love suits for sonnets or hymns. They will be remembered in legend long after they are dead. Love has made them one another's hermitage. They have found the whole world in the mirrors of each other's eyes. They have absorbed each other. The poem uses elaborate conceit throughout the poem. In the beginning, the speaker expresses his commitment to love. He addresses and discusses love in terms of size, cold, and heat in the second stanza. The poet uses more and more of disharmonious associations. He compares himself and his beloved with flies, and tapers, phoenix, and saints. If you see about the title of the poem, the canonization is paradox. The word canonization means the act or process of changing an ordinary religious person into a saint in Catholic Christian religion. This title suggests that the poet and his beloved will become saints of love in the future, and they will be regarded as saints of true love in the whole world in the future. The paradox is the theme of love is treated as sainthood, and also in their resurrection, their relationship has become a paradox. This is represented in the 26th and 27th line. The key paradox of love is that two individuals become one. Don has used many visual imageries. Eagle, dove, and phoenix expresses supremacy of mutual love. In the medieval fable, the old eagle flies up to the sun and gets scorched. The eagle then plunges into a well to renew its youthful energy. So this image explains the central idea of love renewing itself through dying. The image of dove has a religious overtone. It represents the pure and divine love that the speaker and his beloved have for each other. The image of phoenix renews her youth when she is burnt alive. It explains the idea of love finding fulfillment in undergoing pain. The poet represents image of flies and tapers to describe the nature of love. The candle burns itself out of its own nature. And also, tapers represents negative imagery. Merchant ship being drowned is a dreadful visual imagery. And also, floods, plague, war, and fly are other imageries. Symbols: eagle and phoenix symbolize renewal or resurrection. Eagle is for violence or strong, and dove is for peace or soft, are juxtaposing images. Taper is for death, grey hair is for old age and death. Tomb and well-wrought urn symbolize piety and fame. Anaphora, the word "O" is used. "O chide my palsy, O my gout," or the king's real or his stamped face. The other literary device is episiaxis. This is a technique where a word is repeated without an intervening word. The repetition of "alas" is an example for episiaxis. Themes: canonization is a first theme. It is Christianity's way of raising the status of pious men or enlisting people among the pious people. The poet in the poem makes a point that they should also be canonized for the way they love each other, not for the religious pious. And if they are not canonized religiously, they would be canonized in the poetry and in the next generation. The other theme is holiness of love. This poem is a masterpiece of love poem of John Donne. Again, the love is Platonic love, which John Donne most advocated through his poetry. He considers their love as the legendary love and pious, which would later be invoked by the people. He says that love has been the hunting ground for the poets, and if their love has no place for tombs, it would find its place in verses. The other theme is immortality of love. The poet demands that some complainer leave him alone to love. The complainer should turn his attention elsewhere, and nobody is hurt by the love. The poet and his lover take their own chances together. They are unified in their love. Their love is a beautiful example for the world that will be immortalized. or canonized, a pattern for all other love in the world. Criticism of the society on love is said in the first stanza of the poem. The other one, literature and writing. For the poet and his beloved, literature and writing are key, because the poet imagines that they will be celebrated in verses and sonnets. In turn, will eventually be treated like hymns, holy songs. So literature is a major on the ladder of immortality. The last theme is religion. God is the second word of the poem. His love is actually for God's sake. It brings him up to heaven. The switch from poems to hymns is quick and significant. 1 minute, the couple are being celebrated in non-religious writing, sonnets, and the next they are being held up in religious songs, hymns. So being a saint comes with superpowers. The title of the poem itself suggests that the theme of the poem might somewhat theological, but as the poet tries to establish a relationship between love and religious faith and gives a central focus of how lovers are canonized as saints, the entire debate is problematized. It seems paradoxical when a sacred ritual like canonization is equated with the act of love making. Physical love had no place in the scripture of Christian theology that never permits to be involved in any kind of conjugal relationship. Rather, conjugal relationship is repressed and treated as a taboo, an act of profanity. Thank you.